Welcome to Honolulu, Hawaii, the site of the Kenwood Cup Yacht Racing Series. 45 yachts from 8 nations have come here to compete. It's America's stop on this year's Grand Prix sailing circuit. In the next hour, we'll take an inside look at the world of ocean racing. We'll see the beauty, experience the excitement, meet the people, and witness the possible dangers of offshore sailing as it is today. So prepare yourself to be carried away on the winds of paradise.
Okay, but we need to see here. Okay, you're very close to the line. Okay, watch your bow. 18, 17, 16. One go, man. One go. 13. Let's go. You're gonna go up.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, march! Perfect time!
Ocean racing began the first time 2 sailing ships set out for the same destination. The racing clippers of a past era have been replaced by high-tech machines, and the racing itself has evolved into a highly organized international sport. All the yachts participating in this series are designed under a set formula, the International Offshore Rule, or the IOR. This is a handicap system which allows large and small yachts in different classes to compete equally. The largest Class A yachts are called maxis. These boats are 80 feet in length and require 28 crew to sail. They're also fast, beautiful, and very competitive because the boats are so even in speed. Class B is made up of boats called ultralights. These boats are very light for their size. They have trouble sailing to windward. That's going back and forth into the wind, but they're very fast when the wind is from behind and the sailors use spinnakers. Class C and D boats range from 45 to 55 feet in length. These boats are your standard ocean racers. Class C is the 1-ton class. They don't weigh 1 ton. Instead, these boats are designed to a formula. They're about 40 feet long and sail with a crew of 10. There are participants here from 8 nations competing for the Kenwood Cup. The early favorites were the American red team of Champosa, Insatiable, and Bravura, and the Australian red team of Great News, the Asandaway, and Sagacious. The defending Kiwis have a weak roster this year due to their America's Cup involvement in San Diego and several around-the-world race projects. The British are rookies in Hawaii, but have put together a strong, well-balanced team. The Japanese are here in force this year with 3 teams. In the past, they have produced individual winners, but they have yet to win the Kenwood Cup.
The Japanese designers and sailors must not be underestimated, and I think over a period of time they'll be making big inroads in the same way as they have been in the car industry and other aspects of Western life these days.
Japan is getting more new people all the time. More boats this year from Japan nearly than any other nation. And that's the essence of the sport. It's the pleasure of finding out, exploring, and that's why I think Japan will be a great sailing nation soon, very soon.
The overall abilities and skills of the people who sail these boats are crucial to determining success in a race. Although muscle and strength are important, especially on larger yachts, it's not really a requirement of every crew member.
Well, I think one of the greatest things about the sport of sailing is you can participate at all ages. Age really isn't a limit to your sailing career, and that allows you to involve your whole family.
It's not too physical. Anybody can do it. You know, you don't have to be a superb physical specimen to be a competitive sailor.
It's very hard to say in a sport that as you grow older, there's a position for you. But in sailing, it seems to, as the boats get more efficient, person can fit in better. Winches turn smoother, everything. The technology is there to make it easier, physically easier.
I left tennis when I realized that sailing was probably a sport I could stick with and be a participant in for a good number of years. And I was really convinced when I was in a race to Mexico, and at the tip of Baja we crossed tacks with a boat by the name of the Nepenthe. And at that time, the Nepenthe was sailed by Glenn Waterhouse. Glenn Waterhouse was 82 years old, and there was a guy that crossed ahead of me. And I said, if that can happen, I'm going to be sailing a long time.
Although the sport of sailing does not have specific requirements as to age or gender, it does require a crew to be flexible. Many of these boats follow a race schedule that takes them around the world over a 2-year period. Most stops on the circuit have pretty much the same format. Numerous short races around the buoys set offshore, and 1 or 2 longer overnight races. Probably the most demanding sailing conditions of any regatta on the circuit are here at the Kenwood Cup. The Kenwood Cup is a series of 5 races. 3 are 27 miles in length around the buoys, and they're day races. One is 150 miles long up and down the Molokai Channel. The locals here call that body of water Shipwreck Alley. The finale is 775 miles of continuous racing all the way around the state of Hawaii. This series of races is organized by the Royal Hawaiian Ocean Racing Club and the Waikiki Yacht Club. Managing a world-class event like this is no small task. Schedules have to be made, and all the yachts must be shipped or sailed here. An international jury chosen and brought to Hawaii, press facilities organized and staffed, and the event has to be coordinated with several international sailing organizations. In spite of all the complexities, the 2 clubs, along with an army of volunteers, have managed to put on a first-class event.
I'm really impressed with the Kenwood Cup. They're very, very organized here, and because of that, they create a good spirit. People are really, they get together in the yacht club afterwards, and everyone talks to each other and talks about the racing and how well it's organized.
I think it's really a quality event and one that will have a good future.
I think the competition's fantastic, and you know, some of the best boats are here from all around the world.
Well, of course, the conditions are tough. The winds are strong and heavy, and the waves are high, and the boats bounce a lot. But the
The sport of sailing has become a media event in recent years. It has attracted more viewers to the television screen than ever before. Spectators show up by the thousands to watch an ocean race. Many corporations are taking advantage of the opportunity to reach the spectators and viewers through sponsorship. But Kenwood Corporation's support of this regatta is unique.
Well, unlike many commercial sponsors who use sporting events as direct marketing vehicles for the sale of their products, our sponsor, the Kenwood Corporation, is merely seeking worldwide recognition of their name due to their association with one of the top yacht racing events in the world today. Since the International Yacht Racing Union, the governing body for our sport, has relaxed the rules on sponsorship, we've seen greater corporate involvement. First, there was sponsorship of events, then sponsorship of teams, and now we have sponsorship for individual yachts.
There is enormous room for growth in the sport with sponsorship. With the costs of boats as they are now, there's no question, without some making sponsorship attractive, the sport can only grow at a very slow pace because it is expensive. We're here with 10 people sailing on the boat, 2 people working ashore. We have to be here for 3 weeks. We're a long way from home. The bills are enormous, and there's only so much that one person, however enthusiastic, can be expected to pay for.
In the short day races, the fleet follows a course shaped like a triangle. The object of the race is to get around the course in the shortest time. Minutes before the start, the boats maneuver to get the best position. From the starting line, the boats follow a route that takes them upwind to the weather mark. But because boats cannot sail directly into the wind, they must tack back and forth all the way. Boats with the wind coming over the right side are on starboard tack. They have the right-of-way over port tack boats, which have the wind coming over the left side. The boats on port must give way, losing time and distance. At the windward mark, the boats hoist their spinnakers, which are colorful balloon-like sails. They begin the fast-reaching leg to the next turn of the course, the wing mark. Flying the spinnaker efficiently means retrimming just about everything on the boat, and all the while trying to stave off challenges from boats on your stern. It's a real dogfight. At the wing mark, the boats turn, bringing the wind, which has been filling the sails from the right, over to the left side. This maneuver is called a jibe. Everything hangs on a thread for a few heartbeats before the sails are trimmed on a new course. The second reaching leg takes the fleet back to the starting buoy. Here they drop the spinnakers and get organized for another interlude of tacking up the course. Only this time, when they reach the windward mark, they turn and head right back downwind, which brings a new set of tactics into play. Now the trailing boats can block the wind of the leaders, adding a complication that is only exciting in Hawaii's strong trade winds. Just to keep everyone working, the race committee always places the finish at the end of another upwind leg. Simply sailing this course requires skill, but real racing performance demands tremendous teamwork.
Yeah, the execution's very important. Trying to get 27, 28 guys organized to get these boats around the race course takes a lot of practice and a lot of execution.
And to do that, we've got a crew of 14 on this boat, and everyone has to do the job, everyone has to talk, to communicate. And when it's going well, it's fantastic because there's just a flow of information going backwards and forwards. Things run smoothly, like clockwork. And you've got to get used to working with people, alongside people, accepting criticism, dealing with it, that sort of thing.
You're putting people in an impossible environment through impossible conditions, and you can't walk off the field in a yacht race.
Well, I think that the thing that attracted me to racing the Maxis was trying to get along with 28 of your best friends all sailing on one boat to one common purpose, trying to get around the track as fast as you can. And the best thing about it is we're doing it against 6 or 8 other boats that are all trying to do the same thing with 28 other people.
It is a competitive sport to a lot of people, and we're out there to win. And once we come back to the dock, then the fun starts.
Once the fun begins, it can go on for days as the sailors sample the particular pleasures of each stop on the Grand Prix circuit. The racing is serious, but the resting is not.
It's not like a sport where you go compete and everybody goes home after the event. Not in sailing. I mean, there's usually a time when you get together after the race and talk about it. And talk about who was fast, who did what, you know, how you went around the marks, things like that. So that is a big part of it, is the after-race camaraderie.
On the water, everybody's doing the best job they can on their boat. But when you get back to the dock, everybody's comrades, everybody's friendly, and it's a real nice feeling because wherever you go, when you get to this level, you always have friends there. I mean, it doesn't matter if Joe was on this boat or Susan was on that boat last time, you might be on the same boat the next year. And so you meet a lot of people from all walks of life.
You can't just attribute sailing to just one profession. People come from all over. It's mostly the characters that determine the kind of people that are aboard the boats. But certainly there's teachers, there's policemen, there's people from all walks of life that sail and crew. It's just the determination, really.
The sport of sailing is very, very easy to get into. It's certainly not only for the wealthy. There are many community centers, community boating organizations in most cities that welcome people to come into the sport.
I came from a family that had no sailing background whatsoever. I was kind of raised through a junior program at a yacht club that I just ended up in the right place at the right time.
Well, I started in a little 8-foot boat. My father and I built an 8-foot boat in our garage in Berkeley. And I was into competitive sailing from the time I was 10 years old.
I come from a big family, and my father had to figure out how to get us out of the house so we wouldn't drive our mother crazy.
Whether it's getting the kids out of the house or the grown-ups out of the office, sailing gives people around the world a chance to compete in an arena where national pride and personal accomplishment replace profit and loss. It was the Spanish who named the Pacific, and the word meant peaceful. But the trade winds here off Hawaii are anything but. It tests the boats and the competitors to the limit. Over 2,000 miles of open ocean separate the Hawaiian Islands from the nearest continent, so there's nothing to interrupt the strong trade winds and heavy seas that can build up over such a long distance. The strength of the winds will increase even more as they thread their way through the Hawaiian chain due to a funneling effect caused by Hawaii's giant volcanoes. Strong winds and heavy seas plus warm sun and water result in some of the most demanding yet enjoyable sailing anywhere in the world. Racing in these conditions requires meticulous preparation and places a premium on crew stamina and equipment strength.
The interesting thing about sailing or racing is the fact that the conditions are always changing and it's never the same. And you know, probably a biggest part of it is worrying about whether the boat's going to hold together because they're built so close to the edge.
All of the yachts racing are highly stressed pieces of machinery. The problem is sometimes the machinery breaks. 2 days before the regatta started, Kealoha, one of the fastest maxi yachts in the world, broke her mast. Her owner, Jim Kilroy from Los Angeles, has been racing actively for 34 years, and never once during that career has he had a problem like that.
It was blowing around 24 true, a little bit of chop on the water, more than a little, a steep, short chop. And we hit a few waves, and then a few more waves, and the mast fell off to leeward. It apparently broke just above the first set of spreaders, with the second break shortly above that. We don't know all of the particulars, but we won't be here for the rest of the regatta.
The boats are getting so powerful now that we're on the fine edge of how strong the equipment actually is.
It, you know, essentially takes us out of the series, whereas going into today, you know, we had it right up there with the top of our class, so it's a disappointment.
It's colossal. I mean, the mast itself was in excess of $38,000, so it's fairly big. But when you think we have 16 guys on the boat, they're all flown from England, the accommodation and the food, and their time out of their businesses as well, so it's a lot. It adds up very quickly. So and also to let down the whole of a British team that was the hardest thing, you know. Very upsetting.
We'd pulled starboard on another yacht in our class called General Hospital, and we were sure they were aware of our position, and as we were hoisting our spinnaker pole, they obviously had problems, couldn't bear away, or found it difficult to make a decision which way to go, and hit us in, as you see, in the midships. We figure now that it'll probably take at least 48 hours if we can get all the materials to actually fix it.
Cheer up, Brian. You know what they say? Some things in life are bad. They can really make you mad. Other things just make you swear and curse. When you're chewing on life's gristle, don't grumble, give a whistle. And this'll help things turn out for the best. And always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the light side of life. If life seems jolly rotten, there's something you've forgotten, and that's to laugh and smile and dance and sing. When you're feeling in the dumps, don't be silly chumps. Just purse your lips and whistle, that's the thing. Hey, always look on the bright side of life. Come on. Always look on the bright side of life. For life is quite absurd, and death's the final word. You must always face the curtain with a bow. Forget about your seat, give the audience a grin. Enjoy it, it's your last chance anyhow. So always look on the bright side of death. Just before you draw your terminal breath. Life's a piece of shit when you look at it. Life's a laugh and death's a joke, it's true. You'll see it's all a show, keep 'em laughing as you go. Just remember that the last laugh is on you. And always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the right side of life. Come on, boy, cheer up. Always look on the right side of life. Always look on the right side of life. There's things happen at sea, you know. Always look on the right side. What you got to lose? You know, you come from nothing, you're going back to nothing. What you lost? Nothing. Always look on the right side of life.
Sails and mast aren't the only thing that can be lost in an ocean race. People can go over the side as well, and that short step off the boat is the most dangerous aspect of the sport, particularly at night. It happened aboard Crazy Horse, the highest scoring boat in the 1986 series.
It was blowing 25 to 30 knots apparent, and were just tacking the boat. We were in a tacking maneuver, and this person was just going to the high side, lost their balance, and pitched backwards through the lifelines into the water.
It's pretty foolish, actually, that I fell over. I was just real tired in the middle of the night, and on a tack, I sort of like slipped and got upended by the coffee grinder. And before I knew it, I was sliding overboard, and I thought I was just like partly over, but I slid all the way off, and I just reached up to grab on because I thought I was still on the boat, and I grabbed the stern pulpit, and my foul weather gear filled up with water, and after that happened, I let go because the pressure just dragged me off.
Bruce was steering the boat at the time. We just went head to wind. We threw him a horseshoe, and we threw him a heaving line, and we had him back on the boat in under a minute.
In the long-distance races, generally the crew is split into two watches, 4 hours on and 4 hours off. Off watch is a time for mending and repacking the sails, fixing broken equipment, preparing and eating your meals, and for the maxis, that's a lot of sandwiches, and of course the best part, sleeping. The 4 hours you're on deck, you're working hard to make sure the boat is always moving as fast as possible. You really have to get into a pace to sail these boats well. If there's a problem like a storm or heavy conditions or a torn sail, then it's an all-hands drill. All of the crew must come up on deck to work together. It's an endurance contest, and the boats with crews that work hard, stay fresh, and pace themselves are usually the ones that win. There's no greater thrill in yacht racing than coming into an empty harbor, because when you do, it means your yacht is first. Now, the maxi yachts would like to win on corrected time, but really their goal is to get to the finish line first and, if they can, set a record. The record for the Around the State race was set in 1984 by the maxi yacht Boomerang. Windward Passage this year was on a record-setting pace all the way around the course until she got several miles from the finish in the Molokai Channel. Then disaster. The wind got light and she sat for a long time, missing the record by just 3 hours. For many years, it took the maxis 5 days to race around the state. Then in 1982, Kealoha tore a full day off the record. It takes more than a great new yacht and smart sailing to set records on this course. You need luck all the way around the track. Even though Windward Passage was comfortably in the lead, her luck ran out when the trade winds died. For the crew, however, first to finish is first to finish.
Well, it was a very light wind race. I think probably in the history of the race, the winds were lighter than they have ever been before. So it was a very soft race. and as a consequence, it was a very slow race.
Jeff, how does it feel to get back to dry land after being all the way around the state of Hawaii on a sailboat race?
Great, Gary. Very demanding race for us in a little boat, but we're very, very happy to be back here. Bit short of water. Food was okay, but water ran out pretty quick.
Was it a lot of fun?
No. It wasn't fun. Even though I think we've won the Kenwood Cup and top overall boat, it was a tough race.
This is my last race. Really, on film, this is my last Kenwood Cup. I'm going to do nothing but day races around the bay. That's it. That's it. If I can't do it in one day, I'm not going again. That's it.
Why do people go out there and do it, though? I mean, why do it if it's so bad?
It's because, yeah, for the fame and the money. Oh, it's always the money. We know that. God, no, it's a challenge. It's just a good challenge.
No, it's fun. It's getting out there and seeing it. We saw some things last night in the water. I've got a degree in oceanography. I never saw things like this. Light was just opening up alongside us on the run down. You know, we couldn't see it. Just these lights just kept coming on. Things like that you never see anywhere else.
Let me kiss my wife, huh?
I'm glad you're Day races too.
Huh? Yeah.
How was the race?
Well, it was really grueling, Gary. You know, after 300 miles of beating, some pretty good wind in the channel and so on, and you run into the lee of that mountain, it destroys your morale. You know, you just figure you're never going to get out of there.
And how do you get out of there?
Well, you just, you know, you try to. I think we did it right. We tried to go north, reach north of the rum line, try to get into shore as much as we could, and then we started to get some good strength of the wind, and we were able to reach back down and hit the that point, you know, about 17 miles from the south end of the island. And so we were reaching all the time. Spinnaker reaching especially was very effective.
You look like you've got a pretty good beard. Is there no time to shave out there?
No time to shave. We did. If anybody took a razor, we'd throw it overboard because weight is so crucial. In fact, we just barely had enough water to finish a race with. Everything was just perfect in terms of weight.
Well, congratulations to you. You did a really good job.
Thank you, Gary.
The Kamehameha Trophy is named in honor of a king who once ruled here in the Hawaiian Islands. It's also awarded to the top-scoring individual yacht. It came down to two boats that could possibly win, Bravura from the United States and Sagacious from Australia. But Sagacious was forced to drop out of the round-the-state race, which paved the way for Bravura to take the Kamehameha Trophy. The Kenwood Cup is awarded to a team of 3 yachts that has the highest point total. In the past 10 years, winners have come from the United States, Australia, and for the first time in 1986, those feisty New Zealanders. This year it came down to 2 teams, and it really wasn't resolved until the finish of the round-the-state race. That's the American Red Team and the Australian Red Team. But in the end, it was the Australians who came out on top, made up of 3 boats, the Asanda Way, Sagacious, and Great News. And for Australia, it certainly was.
Great News, David Wilson, Jones, Sagacious 5, Barry Oldie, and the Asanda Way, Warren John. The captain of the race team is Barry Appleby, the owner of Sagacious. And the team manager, that unsung hero that does all the work to make it happen,
Winning the Kenwood Cup is important, and to those that win, congratulations. But really in sailing, there's a lot more to it than that. It's the places you go, like Honolulu, Hawaii, and the sights you see, racing under the giant volcanoes of the Hawaiian Islands, experiencing these big waves here and these heavy seas, and also the strong winds. But the real benefit, and the reason everyone is a winner in a regatta like the Kenwood Cup, is the people you meet from around the world. It's the places you go, it's the camaraderie you have, it's the lessons you've learned when things have gone right and sometimes when things have gone wrong. You put all this together and it makes for a very rewarding experience.